History remembers December 7, 1941, as the day Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. But what history doesn't tell you is the story of the man who tried to stop it. A man torn between duty, honor, and the unbearable weight of silence. This is his story. Tokyo, November 1941. Lieutenant Commander Hiroshi Nakamura adjusted the silver buttons on his uniform, his jaw tight, eyes heavy with the burden of secrets. Outside, the Imperial Navy headquarters bustled with officers, but inside Hiroshi's mind, only one thought screamed, war is coming. For months, whispers echoed through the cherry-blossom streets of Tokyo. Codebooks changed hands. Secret orders slid across polished desks. The Imperial fleet was moving, but where, no one dared say aloud. But Hiroshi knew. Assigned to naval intelligence, he had stumbled onto the truth buried beneath layers of false reports and coded messages. He didn't want to believe it, until he decoded the final communiqué himself. Target: Pearl Harbor. Operation date: December 7th. The words burned behind his eyes. Hiroshi's hands trembled as he lit a cigarette in the quiet alley behind headquarters. His best friend, Lieutenant Kazuo Tanaka, approached, the familiar click of his boots echoing off the walls. "You look like hell, Hiroshi." Kazuo smirked, unaware of the storm brewing inside his friend. "Can we talk privately?" Hiroshi's voice was low, urgent. Minutes later, in a dim izakaya tucked away in the backstreets, Hiroshi laid it all out: the intercepted orders, the fleet mobilization, the looming attack. Kazuo's eyes widened. If this is true, this isn't just war, it's slaughter. A surprise attack, thousands will die. "I know." Hiroshi's voice cracked. "And if I speak out, I'm a traitor. If I stay silent, I'm complicit." The weight of loyalty to the Emperor crushed his chest. But his conscience screamed louder. Kazuo hesitated, then slid a slip of paper across the table. A contact, the American embassy, discreetly sympathetic diplomats who detested the coming war. "Take it," Kazuo whispered. "It's your only chance, and theirs." The next week unfolded like a nightmare. Every corner of Tokyo reeked of suspicion. Secret police lurked. Officers disappeared overnight. Hiroshi moved like a ghost, dodging eyes, burning classified documents after reading, and trying to find a way to deliver the truth to the Americans. But fate was cruel. On December 3rd, 4 days before the attack, Hiroshi's apartment was ransacked. His codebooks vanished. His telephone wire sliced. And worse, Kazuo was gone. Only a blood-stained note remained: "Traitors vanish." Hiroshi's heart raced as he boarded the night train to Yokohama under a false name. His only hope, a freighter bound for Honolulu, the last neutral Japanese vessel set to leave before the attack. Hours later, disguised as a deckhand, he slipped aboard the freighter Hakata Maru, the weight of his stolen intelligence hidden beneath his coat. The sea was rough. His nerves worse. Days dragged as the ship churned toward Hawaii, every mile a gamble. If the captain discovered him, if the Kempitai found him, he'd vanish, just like Kazuo. Pearl Harbor, the final hours. December 6, 1941. The freighter anchored off the coast of Oahu. Hiroshi's hands were raw from labor, his eyes bloodshot from sleepless nights. But none of that mattered now. Under cover of darkness, he slipped ashore, evading patrols and shadows. The U.S. naval base loomed in the distance, bathed in moonlight, the calm before the storm. Clutching the documents, he made his way to the U.S. consulate. But fate struck again. Guards stopped him, guns raised, suspicious of the disheveled Japanese man with wild eyes. "No time," Hiroshi pleaded in broken English. "I have proof. Attack. Tomorrow. Pearl Harbor, thousands will die." The guards exchanged wary glances. Was this a trick? A trap? Then, from the shadows, a familiar face emerged. Kazuo. Alive. But different. Cold eyes. Stiff uniform. Hiroshi's blood froze. "Kazuo. You're working for the Emperor." "Always was," Kazuo interrupted, a pistol aimed at Hiroshi's chest. "You're a fool, Hiroshi. You can't stop history." A scuffle erupted. Fists, gunfire, broken glass. Hiroshi's heart pounded as he tackled Kazuo, adrenaline drowning out reason. The documents, The evidence spilled across the floor. In the chaos, an American officer snatched the papers, scanning the coded orders. His face paled. My God, he's telling the truth. But it was too late. The night sky lit up with a distant hum of engines. Above, a dark swarm of Japanese bombers descended upon Pearl Harbor, engines snarling like wolves in the dark. The attack had already begun. Explosions rippled through the harbor as Hiroshi and the Americans watched helplessly. Battleships burned. Sirens wailed. The water turned black with oil and red with blood. Hiroshi collapsed, exhausted, broken, staring at the inferno consuming the horizon. He had tried. He had risked everything. But history was merciless. In the days that followed, Hiroshi was detained by U.S. intelligence, his information confirmed, his warnings added to classified files labeled "Too Late." The world remembers Pearl Harbor as a surprise. But behind the headlines, behind the smoke and flames, was one man, burdened by truth, trapped by fate, who tried to change history and failed. But not all battles are won in the open. Some are fought in the shadows and lost in silence.